So, you're an American, your partner's Canadian, and you want to start your life together in Canada. It can feel like a total maze, right? Especially with all the headlines about immigration rules getting tighter. Well, we're going to cut right through all that noise. This is your clear, strategic guide to the 2026 Spousal Sponsorship System, designed to give you a solid plan and a whole lot of confidence. All right, the first thing you have to understand is that the game has changed. Canadian immigration is scaling back. You can see it right here. The targets for new permanent residents are dropping by a lot come 2026. Now, why does this matter to you? Simple. It means more people are competing for fewer spots. A perfect, mistake-free application isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's the price of admission. So, to get you through this, we've laid out a 6-part journey for you. First, we'll dig a little deeper into this new reality. Then we'll cover the core rules, the stuff you absolutely have to get right. We're going to pinpoint the single most critical choice you'll make in this whole process, then give you a specific playbook just for Americans. We've also got a really important warning for anyone even thinking about Quebec. And then we'll wrap it all up with your 2026 roadmap for success. Okay, let's dive into part 1, Canada's new immigration reality. We're talking about navigating a much more selective system. You know, the days of rapid expansion, of opening the doors wider and wider, are over for now. The government's new focus is on stabilization, and that comes with much stricter rules. It means your application has to be flawless. So where do you actually fit in this smaller picture? Well, take a look. Out of that 380,000 total target, only about 84,000 spots are set aside for the entire family class. And that's not just spouses, that's partners, kids, parents, the whole shebang. When you see your slice of the pie is that small, it really drives the point home. The competition is real, and every single detail in your application is going to be under a microscope. Next up, let's get into the core rules. Think of these as the absolute non-negotiable fundamentals of your application. Getting this foundation right from the very beginning, that's your first big win on the path to success. So who can be a sponsor? Well, first off, you got to be over 18 and a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. But here's a super important difference you need to catch. If you're a Canadian citizen, you can actually start the sponsorship from the US as long as you can prove you're planning to move back to Canada with your spouse. Permanent residents, on the other hand, must physically be living in Canada to sponsor someone. That's a common trip up, so don't let it be you. And then there's the sponsorship undertaking. This is not just another form to fill out. I want you to think of this as a serious, legally binding contract you're signing with the government of Canada. You are legally promising to take care of your spouse financially and to pay back any social assistance they might need. It's a big deal. And how long are you on the hook for? 3 full years. This obligation is absolute, and it starts the very day your spouse becomes a permanent resident. And get this, it doesn't matter if your relationship changes or if you hit a rough patch financially, that contract stays in effect, no exceptions. Okay, now we're getting to what is, without a doubt, the most important strategic decision you are going to make in this entire process. Section 3, your critical choice. This is all about inland versus outland sponsorship. And trust me, this one choice will shape your entire journey. So, inland or outland? This decision impacts everything: how long you'll wait, whether your spouse can travel, and what your legal options are if things go sideways. Let's break down why this is such a make-or-break moment. Let's put them head-to-head. Just look at the processing time. Outland is way faster. We're talking 5 to 12 months. Inland can drag on for over 2 years. But honestly, the real game changer here is the right of appeal. If an inland application gets refused, you're stuck with a very limited legal review. With Outland, you get a full-blown appeal. When you look at the speed, the security, and the flexibility, the Outland path is the clear strategic winner for almost every American applicant. Okay, let's zoom in on the specifics. For those of you applying from the US, Section 4, the US Playbook. There are a few unique administrative hurdles you need to clear, and this is exactly how you're going to do it. I need you to listen to this one very, very carefully. The FBI police certificate. Its timing is everything. As the source material makes brutally clear, if that certificate is 91 days old, just 1 day over 90, when you file, they will return your entire application. No questions asked. You go straight to the back of the line, losing months of time over a simple mistake. So here are your key procedural steps. You'll give your biometrics, but only after you get the official instruction letter. For medicals, you don't do it up front. You wait for them to tell you when.
And this is a really cool part. You can use a concept called dual intent. It basically means you, as an American, can legally be in Canada as a visitor while you have an application for permanent residence in the works.
Of course, the question on everyone's mind is, when can I start working? You can apply for something called a Spousal Open Work Permit, or SOWP, but you have to manage your expectations on the timing. From the day you submit your PR application, it typically takes 6 to 10 months to actually get that work permit in your hands. So please, plan your finances for that waiting period.
Okay, now we have to talk about a major roadblock that could affect some of you. This is Section 5, the Quebec warning. If your plan is to settle down in Quebec, you need to know about a unique and very challenging situation happening in 2026. So here's the deal. Quebec has hit the pause button on accepting new spousal sponsorship undertaking applications. This moratorium is active right now, and they're not scheduled to reopen intake until late June of 2026. To put it simply, the province is just not processing the provincial part of new spousal applications until then, and it's creating a massive bottleneck. And if you want to see just how big of an impact this has, just look at this. The difference is staggering. While an application for the rest of Canada is averaging around 10 months, a Quebec application is taking about 36 months. That's 3 years. And no, that is not a typo. It's the reality of the backlog, and it means you need a completely different game plan if Quebec is your destination. All right, let's pull all of this together and get you on your way. This is Section 6, your 2026 strategic roadmap. This is your final checklist, the clear, simple plan to get you to that permanent residence finish line successfully. First things first, and I can't stress this enough, prioritize the Outland pathway. Even if you're both already in Canada, it's just the smarter move. It's faster, it gives you the flexibility to travel, and most importantly, it protects you with the right to a full appeal if anything goes wrong. Recommendation number 2, you've got to use that dual intent strategy we talked about. Come to Canada as a visitor, which you can do easily as an American. Be open and honest if asked at the border that you plan to apply for PR. This is what lets you be together in Canada while you wait for the application to process. And finally, here's your pre-flight checklist, your key actions. Get the timing on that FBI certificate perfect. Don't let it expire. Pay every single fee up front, including the right of permanent residence fee, so you don't face delays later. Plan your money for that 6 to 10 month wait for a work permit. And if you are heading to Quebec, you should seriously think about a temporary move to a border city, like Ottawa, to use the much faster processing system. So the path forward should be a whole lot clearer for you now. Yeah, the system is more selective, it's tougher, but it is absolutely navigable when you have the right strategy. You now have the roadmap to do it right. The only question left is, what's your first step?